Greetings, I am Dr. Avery Kinley, one of two coordinating supervisors of professional learning. Pleased to be with you to talk about one part of the handbook that focuses on the candidate support team. So there are some competing interests in relation to TAP and the responsibilities that you will have at your school. And so I want you to take a moment and to think about which is most important. And think about where you might fall on the rope and how strongly you agree with one side or the other. So, as you process those competing interests, I want you to think about that there are some responsibilities that you will have as a member of the TAP program. And obviously, there are responsibilities that are expected at your school. And so, which one is most important? Well, ultimately, they're both important. But I do want you to remember that your certification will come through the participation in the TAP program. So, yes, you have to make sure that you fulfill all the duties and responsibilities at your school to remain employed. But the TAP program is the institution, it's the body, it's the program which will apply for your teaching certificate. So, you have to make sure you complete all of the requirements of the TAP program. So let's talk about the candidate support team. So the candidate support team consists of the individuals who regularly meet to assess the candidate's progress and are invested in their ultimate success. So this is a group of individuals that will meet sometimes with the candidate, sometimes they will meet without the candidate, but ultimately, the purpose of the candidate support team is to support you and ensure that you can be successful. So, who makes up the team? The team is made up initially and is centered around you, the TAP candidate. Without you and without the ability to support you, there is no need for a candidate support team. And so the candidate is vital to the entire support team. Additionally, we have the teacher development specialist for which you will be assigned. So that's somewhat of your district liaison that will help you fulfill all of the requirements of the TAP program, ultimately leading to your teaching certificate. We also have your school based mentor. And so the school based mentor is very important because while the teacher development specialist will help you with the TAP program and serves as kind of that district liaison, the school based mentor will help you navigate through some of the differences and complexities that we have at each school. And so the school based mentor will be someone that you will go to sometimes to address issues that may be relevant only to your particular situation at your respective school. After the school based mentor, we have that school based administrator. So the school based administrator will be assigned to you. It may be the principal at your school, it may be the assistant principal, but it will be one of the two. So it may be an assigned assistant principal or it may be the principal. That school based mentor or that school based administrator will participate in all of your candidate support team meetings. They will connect with your school based mentor as well as your teacher development specialist if there are any issues or any concerns. And then they're also kind of your line of contact within the school. After your school based mentor, there may be some instances where the content specialist may be asked to participate in certain aspects of your progress through the TAP program. And so, depending on your content area, if it's world languages, sometimes we may ask the content specialist to assist. If you are in the CTAE department, sometimes we will use someone in that department to assist. So, some of you will be in some specialized areas where sometimes the content specialist is needed in order to have us have a holistic view of how you're performing. Then we have the program coordinators. In this particular case, there are actually two program coordinators, and they are the coordinating supervisors of professional learning. And so that is myself, Dr. Avery Kinley, as well as Mrs. Melissa Sloan Iddens. We both serve as the program coordinators. So again, your program coordinators are Dr. Avery Kinley as well as Mrs. Melissa Sloan Iddens. So if you ever have an instance where you may have an issue or problem that's not solved at the school, or that your teacher development specialist cannot solve, your next line of contact would be the program coordinator. And then, in addition to that, there is another member of the team, which is the director of professional learning, which is Dr. Gloria Duncan. So you have the director of professional learning who oversees the coordinating supervisors, which also are the program coordinators. And so those are the line of contacts that you would need if you cannot resolve a particular situation within your school and with your teacher development specialist. But ultimately, your first line of contact would be your teacher development specialist if there's any particular issue that you might have. Now, when we look at our TAP candidates, there are a lot of ways that we assess, and we collect a lot of information, beginning with diagnostic data. And so that diagnostic data was collected during the entrance process. We looked at your demographic information, the degree that you received, and all of you received a TAP interest form, and that form was based in part on your degree or the courses that you took in order to attain your degree. We also looked at your GACE scores, and then all of you had an interview, a model lesson, and written assessments. So all of that's diagnostic data, which helps us understand who you are to better serve you. And now you're going through that TAP Essentials piece where we do look at your participation, we look at your attendance, as well as your dispositions. So understand, even in this particular process, even though it's virtual and almost all of it's through modules, we're still looking at your participation, the attendance, and dispositions that you have as you engage with us. The next piece of data that we look at is the formative data. So you will have classroom observations from your teacher development specialist. The coordinating supervisors of professional learning will also do observations of you. You will receive feedback from those observations, and we will assess the implementation of that feedback. We will also look at your attendance in your courses that you will take in the TAP program and your dispositions at your school and through TAP. And then summative data will be utilized to assess your progress moving from semester to semester. So there are CST meetings. CST stands for Candidate Support Team Meetings. We talked about who makes up that candidate support team. And so we look at how you're performing. And we will talk about the CST meetings in just a second, but we utilize that particular data in order to determine how well you're doing in the program.